Hello, Grand Rising, everyone. Thanks for tuning back in once again to the original Queen Ahmadiyyah Shakur show. I'm your host, Queen Ahmadiyyah Shakur, and this is your morning wake-up call. So as you're coming in, please feel free to go ahead and subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. Be sure to click that notification bell and click the word all so that you're notified each time the Queen Goddess goes live. Don't forget to follow me on Instagram at Queen Ahmadiyyah Shakur. You can also follow the Queen Ahmadiyyah Shakur fan page, and you can follow me on Twitter at DGoddess27. All right, so let's get into it. Okay, hello, that crazy beach Aries. Oh, Yayla, Patriot. Okay, melanated brown. All right, Courtney J. I see you, beloved. California red. Okay. For a year, I have started to hold on. Let me go back to this comment. California Hotel says, for a year now, I have started to have an odd feeling about this lady. She is cursing herself and will go crazy or get in trouble like young Pharaoh. Absolutely. That's what happens when you're a fraud. Okay, a whole con artist. Hello, Jeremy. Mark Ayers from the UK. Kenyatta. Okay, Pearly, I see you. CH464. Danielle. Queen Candy J is in the house. Christopher Perkins. All right. Cat 2806. The Rebel. All right. Hello, Jacqueline. Let's get into it. Yuakata. All right. Shout out to everyone in the chat and everyone tuned in. I see you, Larry Jamil. Okay. So let's go ahead and get it started. Pearly said, love you, Queen, the most realist. Thank you, beloved. Thank you. Thank you. Okay, so let's get into it. So yes, I'm exposing somebody today. All right. Now, here's the thing. You all sent me numerous of videos. From her Instagram where she was saying things that, are going to be in her webinar that I've taught on my spiritual channel. All right. By the way, let me just plug myself. Queen Ahmadiyyah TV, More Than Meets the Third Eye. Excuse me, if you haven't seen it. Now, with that all being said, this is the same person who, when I was on Fly Nubian Queen, used to hate on me left and right. At the end of the day, didn't want anybody else getting any praises other than themselves. And in fact, would steal my talking points even when I was on there and then go back and say I was the copycat. Oh, yes. Posted subliminals on Twitter talking about when you are original, expect to be copied. This is what this person said right after they copied my catchphrases earlier that day. Okay. I said that I was a one-hit wonder. All right. Yes, that's what they said. I say anyway, excuse me. Now I'm going to call it on out. See, somebody suggested, because I hadn't even thought about this, but somebody suggested maybe a couple of months ago that when people use my talking points, and there's a specific 2 people that do this that I'm talking about, and this person's one of them, but they said that I should in fact timestamp the videos and go back and roll that footage from when I said it first. And now all they're doing is copying. So that's what I'm going to start doing. All right. That's what I'm going to start doing. Trace says, I love More Than Meets the Third Eye. Excellent channel. Thank you, beloved. Thank you. All right. So with that all being said, let's get into it, honey, because without further ado, but also let me say this. At the end of the day, I knew this was going to happen. See, I knew somebody was going to come out and expose this person and tell who they really are. I didn't know it was going to be someone so close to them, their own good friend, their own person who runs their so-called fan page, their own manager. I didn't know this person was going to be the one to do it, but I knew that it was going to happen. Moderators, y'all know I told you this. Y'all know I told you this months ago. I told you that this person was going to be exposed. Did I not? I told you this. And the reason I knew this is because my spirit told me. You see, you can go around here and you can lie and be inauthentic and you can try to be somebody else and you can spew other people's talking points. That's what you can do. And you can get away with it long enough and you can fool some people and you can take credit for other people's work without ever mentioning their name, at least giving them something so minuscule as a shout out. You can do that. But eventually the tables are going to turn and everybody's going to see you for who you are. Now, this person who was her manager, who was holding up all of her fan page and, her website and posting all this stuff for her to help grow her platform. Well, she did this person dirty. And you know what they say when you do people dirty, right? They say, when friends become foes around the world, your secrets go. So this person has exposed them. I mean, they even posted the text messages, which I'll also gladly show. And the reason I'm going to show all of that is just to prove what I've been saying all along. This person's a whole fraud, a whole con. And when she went to federal prison, she went there for conning and scamming Black people. Now, you can sit there and let her tell you that she was attacked by the FBI, by the federal government, because she was a whole activist. No, she was a whole con artist. Prove I'm lying. I got receipts, and she knows I got those receipts. Prove I'm lying. Okay, always trying to act like she was out here doing so much work for black folk. That's why they put her in jail. No, they put you in jail because you defrauded overnight at least 19 black folk. Okay, with your fraud for your mortgage, the bank fraud, the wire fraud, and all of that. That's what happened. That's what it is. She stole from black folk. All right, that's why she has to pay over $2 million in restitution. Okay, so sit there and act like you're a black activist, but you're supposed to be so pro-black. But I have a picture of her where she was laying hands on bread. Laying hands on bread. Moderators, I showed it to you months ago. Laying hands on bread, really? But if you can lay hands on people and if you can heal people, how come you can't heal yourself? Now, I'm not going to talk about anybody's sickness to their detriment, but what I'm saying is y'all need to use common sense. If somebody has an illness that they have to keep dealing with, but they can still tell you that they can activate your DNA codes, please make that make sense. How can you activate DNA codes when you can't even get rid of your own sickness? If the ancestors are telling you so much stuff about DNA and codes, the ancestors can't tell you how to heal yourself because they told me. They told me. All right, at the end of the day, I'm not sick now, but I once was. So I'm just saying, make it all make sense. And another thing is this. Talking about the ancestors and royal bloodlines, that too came from the queen. Because I have told you all that our royal ancestors, the ancient Cometians, how they knew about astrology and numerology, and they knew about the sun and how the sun, as they called it, took 12 steps across the sky. Okay, that's why when you are in a drug rehab program or you are Alcoholics Anonymous candidate, they'll tell you you have to take a 12-step program. Well, they got that from the sun taking 12 steps across the sky when it's in its trajectory. Okay. And when they talk about the movie Star Wars, Luke Skywalker, they got that from the ancient Cometians, the ancient Egyptians too, because Luke Skywalker, when the sun walks across the sky. So that's where they got all of that from. And when she starts talking about your melanin and what scientists say about melanin, she got that from my video. Okay, the relationship of melanin drenched people, the relationship they have with the sun. I did a whole expose on it. At the end of the day, the footage will be shown. And also, Tammy says, your spirit is genuine and good, Queen. God got you. Thank you, beloved. Absolutely. Thank you. And then all of this talking about downloads and the ancestors, that all came from the Queen too. That all came from the Queen because you all know that I'm prophetic. I've prophesied many things. I've told you things were going to happen in advance. I've been telling you for 2 years about the famine, the blackouts, the cyber attacks, and all these things. I've been telling you to prepare and all of this. And in fact, I remember the exact first time that I mentioned it to you. It was Thanksgiving Day of 2020. All right. I did a video called People Out Here Celebrating Nonsense While Famine and Gloom Lurk Around the Corner. Y'all remember that? And so I started telling you all these things. And that's because I'm prophetic, right? I'm a shaman, born into being a shaman by my native indigenous ancestors, not because I had to read it or research it or learn it from somebody else. That's what you get in your bloodline, which is your royal bloodline. And the reason I call it that is the same reason I call my people royals. Okay, the loyal royals. That's why I call y'all that. At the end of the day, everything has been hijacked. All right, everything has been hijacked. So let's get into it because now I'm about to show those receipts. All right, likes up, everyone, please. A like and share. Like, share, and subscribe. Let's get into it. Now, the first video I'm going to pull up is for her Instagram, where she's clearly using my talking points from my spiritual channel. So I'm going to share my screen. Likes up, everyone, please get those likes up. Thank you in advance. And then I'm going to show my video. Yes, absolutely, shots fired. Absolutely. And I'm going to do this every time and any time she steals my talking points. All right? That's what I'm going to do.
Out only days away from your royal, celestial, and terrestrial bloodline webinar. I am going to break down both earthly and supernatural powers that's on the inside of your DNA, and we're going to unlock it so that you can walk in your power and your purpose on earth as it is in the high heavens. You don't want to miss this. This is the stuff that the government, this is the stuff that NASA, this is the stuff that the powers that shouldn't be will not tell you. You're going to get it with me this Sunday, June 26, 2 p.m. Eastern, my Worldwide Ancestors Webinar 3. Don't you dare miss.
Now, the part I want you to pay attention to is when she said, our celestial and terrestrial. And then she said, on earth as it is in the high heavens. Yeah, okay. Now, hold on. Let me go to the next receipt. And then I'm going to play my video so y'all can hear exactly what I'm talking about. Here we go.
Grace and peace. I was dealing with so-called friends and haters that turned against me because of the image and the shame that I was walking through. I went through divorce. I went through bankruptcy. I lost every home as a homeowner that I had, you understand. We were dealing with deaths in the family. And while everything was squeezing in on me during several years, over a several-year period of time, this messenger came to me, my celestial family, and they gave me a code of how they were going to deal with my enemies. They gave me the heads up, and I knew what was happening for the most part before it even took place. And they're speaking today, and I want to give you that information. Not for you to be a copycat of me, not for you to manifest Vicky's purpose, but so that you can manifest your unique purpose and get you some gas money, get you some breakthroughs in your family, get you some wisdom, get you some business ideas. Somebody talk black to me. Whatever is necessary. This is the government that you appeal to assist you in living the life of your dreams on earth as it is in heaven. And God forbid you fix your lips to call your own ancestors devilish and demonic.
Now, I'm going to stop right there. I'm going to stop right there. So you all heard she said, on earth as it is in heaven. And then she said, how dare you call your ancestors demonic, right? Well, here's the thing. What she is doing also that needs to be known is that she's mixing spirituality with occult-like practices. What our ancestors did absolutely is not demonic. And I said that. I've told you all that numerous of times on the spiritual channel. I said that the powers that shouldn't be, they don't want us to know that. And so they tell us that it's occult and that it's devilish and satanic, whilst they use it against us. I said all this, right? But here's the thing also. What she does is she mixes it with witchcraft. That's why she calls herself a magnetic witch. Anytime you're talking about witchcraft, that means you a witch, and witchcraft is demonic. So she mixes that with my teachings, which are spirituality, okay? Things that came from the ancient Cometians and our indigenous ancestors, the so-called Black natives, all right? So let's get into it, because now I'm going to pull up my video where she got all that from. Likes up, everyone, please like and share, subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. Thank you in advance. Now, let me make sure I'm starting at the right part, because I don't want to go all through this. Okay, here we go. Let me roll it back some. We're going to start right here. Universe and things like that. Now, in astrology, is astrology a spiritual practice? Astrology is an ancient practice, what I just said, that has flourished in many cultures around the globe and has evolved and diversified to bring forth numerous branches within the astrological tradition. Astrology is a spiritual way of knowing and can be approached as a spiritual practice. So don't listen to people who are out here telling you that you shouldn't be dabbling in astrology or numerology, because first of all, numerology is all throughout the Bible and many of the allegories especially, okay? And so is astrology. Now, what's the most powerful aspect of astrology, you might ask? Now, image results for spiritual aspects of astrology, conjunctions are said to be the most powerful aspects, mutually intensifying the effects of the planets involved. They are major points in an individual's chart. Now, whether the conjunction in question is regarded as beneficial or detrimental depends solely on the specific planets that are involved at the time. What is a conjunction aspect in astrology? Well, in astrology, the aspect called conjunction describes two separate points in the solar system that unites and then blend their energies together. From our perspective on Earth, points that are in the conjunction aspect seem to move together. So let me just give you an example. In the Bible, when it talks about the Lord's Prayer, and it says, "Thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven," right? That is an example of the conjunction in astrology, which is blending the energies of ourselves here on earth together. Because as let thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. When they talk about the will of God, they're talking about the zodiac wheel. All right? The wheel that houses the 12 zodiac signs that fall directly in the path of the sun. Okay? That's an allegory in the Bible. When you're actually saying the Lord's Prayer, that is an allegory, as are many other things. And when it says the will be done on earth as it is in heaven, that's because what goes on in the heavens, which is the zodiacs, right? And the movement of the planets and the stars, the sun and the moon, those things determine our actions and our energies here on earth. So you may have heard that, there's a specific energy that's given out by the moon when there's a full moon. You've heard of the Mercury retrograde, which gives us a specific type of energy, right? So all of these things happen in earth or happen in heaven, but they absolutely affect life here on earth. Now, spiritual astrology. Does astrology matter on a spiritual journey? Spiritual matters and astrology are sometimes discussed together, and to the person in the street may seem connected. Now, astrology is concerned with understanding the connection between the movement of celestial bodies and events on earth. Understandably, then some say that astrology is one of the 7 keys to unlocking the secrets of the universe. Therefore, it is reasonable to ask, does astrology play a role in your spiritual development? And the answer is absolutely yes. And only spiritual people will be interested in pursuing and researching and studying astrology and how it coincides with their life and the energies that they have on a daily basis. Now, from a spiritual perspective, how accurate is astrology? Spirituality is ultimately about moving your awareness beyond the realm of astrology and geometry. From this higher perspective, you can understand astrology and other things in a way that your mind cannot. Consequently, this reveals that astrology is relatively accurate for predicting macrocosmic events. In other words, how astrology affects the planet, country, or group of people. Now, when it comes to individuals, in order to be accurate, you need to go into a high level of personal detail in order to be accurate. It is for this reason that professional astrologers, they take a lot of time to produce a personal chart for each person that they talk with, for each person that they're trying to give a reading on, or each person that they're trying to assess, their energies and tell them about the things that are going to happen when they're in Mercury or when they're in, different houses of the zodiac, right? They want to know as much pertinent information about the person. Okay, I'm going to stop it right there for now. And so planets are in alignment for Vicky to get this work. Y'all are too much. Okay. Yes. Sadia said, yes, witchcraft is demonic and the Most High warrants us to stay away from this. This is on point, Queen. Thank you, beloved, because what I am teaching is actual spirituality that the ancestors practiced. And another thing is this. I want you to pay attention because when she's talking about the ancestors and all that, the title of my video is how our ancestors knew astrology was connected to spirituality and how this makes us divine beings. Okay? That's the name of the video. So she literally took everything, my talking points, even the, the fact that I always talk about the ancestors, the ancient Cometians, the indigenous natives, and all of that. Yes, that's what she did. Okay. And now she's sitting up here talking about on earth as it is in heaven. First of all, let me tell you how I know she specifically stole that from me. As soon as I heard it come out of her mouth, and you all knew it too when you sent me that video of those videos, is because for the simple fact, I didn't learn that from anyone. On earth as it is in heaven pertains to the zodiac signs that fall in the direct path of the sun that relate to us, the way we behave here, and putting it with the Lord's Prayer. I didn't learn that somewhere. Okay. That was given to me. All right. That's all I'm saying. Okay. That's what that was. That's something that I just knew when I started realizing that the Bible was allegorical. That's another thing. She never knew the Bible had allegory. She never knew that. She was always preaching the Bible and taking it literally. And when you know that she started copying my talking points and following my teachings, is because she all of a sudden started talking about the Bible having allegories. Go back and do the footage and see when she first started talking about it. Okay. At the end of the day, she kept calling it an algorithm. See, this is the way you know someone isn't a learned scholar, that there's someone who just goes and regurgitates what someone else has taught because they don't go into details about it. Now, on her video the other day, it was a young woman that asked her if she could astral project. All right. And she was like, why you ask me that on a live? Yes. And then she tried to explain how she astral projected. That was not astral projecting. Astral projecting is when your spirit leaves your body, and your spirit can leave your body and travel to several different places. Your spirit can leave your body and be looking right at your body. I've astral projected. Okay. I have waken up and my spirit has left my body, and I've seen myself lying on the bed waking up. That's astral projecting. There's a documented story of a woman who lived in London, and she and her husband were going to purchase a new home. So they wanted this new house, but she wanted a huge house. And the husband said, well, we can't afford a real big house. And so the woman has a dream for 5 nights in a row about this huge house that's a mansion. It's got these French doors. It's got a pool in the backyard. And she starts telling her husband about this dream in this house. And the husband says, well, we can't afford a house like that. So one day they're riding around looking at houses to purchase, and she sees the same house that she has been seeing in her dream. So she tells her husband, this house is for sale. This is the house I've been dreaming about. Let's go in here and see what the price is. Or, let's go in here and try to put a bid in. So the husband's like, we can't afford this. That's a whole mansion. Well, they go inside. Now, this is a documented story. They go inside and they meet with the real estate agent, and they give them an offer. Well, the husband is pessimistic. He's not thinking they're ever going to be able to buy this house. The real estate agent comes back and says, okay, we accept the offer. The owner's going to go ahead and do the deal. The husband says, wait a minute, for her to take the house at this price, there's got to be something wrong with it. And she said, well, I'm going to tell you the truth. The owner thinks it's haunted. So then the wife says, I don't care if it's haunted or not. I want this house. Minutes later, the owner comes to the house. And when she sees the wife and husband, she drops her purse and screams. She says, you're the ghost that's been haunting my house. That's what she says to the woman. Now, here's the thing. The woman wasn't a ghost. The woman wasn't haunting her house. The woman was astral projecting. You see, in order to astral project, your body, your physical body is asleep, and your spirit leaves and roams freely. So what was happening for the 5 nights when the woman was dreaming about the house, her spirit was leaving, and it was going wandering about, and it was going to that house. You see, sometimes we go places and we say, I feel like I've been here before. This seems like deja vu. Well, that's likely because your spirit astral projected and visited that place while your body was asleep, and you may have dreamt about it, but it wasn't really a dream. All right, so pay attention. So with that all being said, I just had to put that on out there because, like I said, yes, going around here stealing the queen's talking points, but hold on, because there's more. Hold on, there's more. There's another video I did called The Relationship Melanin Drenched People Share with the Sun. Now, I did this video a year ago. The one that I just showed you also did that a year ago on my spiritual channel. So hold on, I'm going to share my screen again. Kenyatta says, thank you, Queen. You're welcome, beloved. You're welcome. And this is why all of you need to be subscribed to my spiritual channel. That's my favorite channel to do.
No, they've got to be prepared for anything.
You gotta be prepared.
And when you use
may develop after sun exposure. Melanin also serves as an antioxidant. But hey, what do I know? I mean, hey, they do say that Black people are the ones most disproportionately affected by something that I'm not going to mention because of underlying health conditions. I'm not a doctor, so I'm not even going to elaborate on that. Vegetable oils and eat nuts, seeds, and heal well. The complex mix of ingredients in green and black tea is hold on, beloveds. I'm trying to get to the right part. Okay, because I don't want to play this whole video. Trying to get to the part that I need to play. I think this is it. Increased levels of melanin put you at higher risk of problems. The uptick in melanin output, darkening of skin tone, and accumulating concentrated areas of melanin in the 48 hours after being exposed to UV radiation can increase the risk of skin cancer, such as malignant melanoma. Of the two, people have been given all sorts of monikers throughout the many millenniums of our existence. For example, Ethiops. That's the word that they call Black people. The people in Ethiopia, they call them Ethiops. That word itself means burning faces. Okay? Krishna. And you know Krishna, Hare Krishna? Yeah, that's a deity that the Indians worship, no less. Krishna actually means black. Not just the name of a god or deity, but it actually means black. What does that tell you? Okay, dark-skinned. That's what it means, black and dark-skinned. Now, Moors or Moorish, meaning black. Okay, that's my nationality. I'm a Moor. All right. Indian, indigo. That also means black. Remember, they call the natives indigo. Now, they say we've been referred to as children of the sun. I always tell you that's what we are and who we are. Throughout history, Black people, no matter where we have been located, have always been venerated, adored, and relished, or we have always venerated, adored, and relished in the sun. This is very true. None more so prevalent than our ancestors of ancient Egypt, the Cometians. The word Kemet, okay? That means land of blackness. And Kemet is where you get the word alchemy and chemistry from, all right? Now, according to those ancient Africans, Black people are indeed sons and daughters of the sun. The most recent term coined for us is melanated, pertaining to a distinct chemical called melanin that gives us our pigmentation. So the question goes without saying, what is melanin? We cannot continue the discussion of what melanin is without briefly talking about the pineal gland. Oh, yes. Now, the pineal gland is an organ that is found in the center of the brain. This gland has been referred to as the inner eye or the third eye, which I call it the first eye. Now, it is approximately the size of a single kernel of corn on average, and it's controlled by the sun. Did you know that your pineal gland is controlled by the sun? That's why you need to be sitting in the sun and gazing at the sun. Now, the pineal gland is responsible for producing and secreting two melanin-derivative hormones known as serotonin and melatonin. Serotonin is secreted during the daylight hours. Melatonin is secreted during the nighttime hours. These hormones work inversely. According to Dr. Jules Poukran, melanin is biological living light. Let me say that to you again. According to Dr. Jules Poukran, melanin is biological living light. Let me tell you something. This is very important right here. Let's listen up. Melanin is biological living lights. That's very important because you see the powers and the forces of darkness. Isn't it ironic that we're dark? Because we have melanin, so we have dark hues to our skin. But the forces and the powers of darkness, i.e. the devils, they have a darkness within them, on the inside of them. Though they have light skin, racist, wicked people, they're dark on the inside instead of the outside. They have these dark demonic forces, right? And the reason they have such an angst and disdain for us and view us as such adversaries is because we have biological, living light within us, though we're dark on the outside. Do you see the contrast? Lights those that know. Blessed be you. Thank you, conscious. Okay, so with that all being said, melanin is the biggest organ in the body. Queen speaking, teaching facts, people. Thank you, beloved. Thank you, blessed with melanin. And that's another thing. That's why the title of my song is The Melanin Within. Okay? That's why the title of my first song that I released is The Melanin Within. Mr. Hotel said, wow, the queen is teaching today, honey. Okay, let me tell you something. This is what I've always done. I've been doing this for years. All right. I just started my spiritual channel. But those of you who followed me on Facebook when I used to be on Facebook, I don't really fool with it now. But you all who followed me on Facebook know I was doing this years ago. Okay. I've been teaching this stuff for over a decade. All right. At the end of the day, my whole thing is this. When you are taking someone else's works and not giving them credit, when you are using someone else's talking points, all right, especially to make your coins, honey, the least you could do is give the person that you learned it from credit. That's all I'm saying. Okay. That crazy beach Aries said, I can't believe I haven't found you sooner. Thank you, beloved. So I'm just saying, honey, at the end of the day, and here's the thing. I've told you all numerous of times how many allegories persist in the Bible. Okay. The Bible is a book of allegories. All right. It is also our book of history. The Bible came from, or the teachings in the Bible came from the ancient commissions. And when I tell you that, people who, they have taught us that the zodiac, astrology, and all of those things are demonic and satanic so that we stay away from it. This is absolutely true. But if you look in the Bible, it is all throughout the Bible. And in fact, in the Bible, it says Meseroth. Meseroth is the Hebrew word for zodiac. Okay. Even when they talk about the story of Jesus, the story of Jesus is an allegory. All right. When they're talking about the crucifixion, they're talking about, when they're talking about Jesus died on Calvary, okay, that comes from the Latin word Calvaria, which means the head, okay? When they talk about Golgotha, that also means the place of the skull. So there are two crucifixions that happen. There's one that happens in the cosmos, and there's one that happens inside of us. When they say the kingdom of God is within you, the kingdom, the dome, they call your head a dome. Somebody says you can get two to the dome. They're talking about the kingdom. Okay, your crown chakra. That's what they're talking about. And like I said before, there's 88 celestial bodies, right? 88 of them, and 12 of them are within the direct path of the sun. Those are the zodiac signs that we're all born under. All right. I told you all this numerous of times. And at the end of the day, those are the ones that are in the house of the zodiac. So in the Bible, when it says in my father's house are many mansions, well, that's an allegory because you could not fit a mansion into a house. That makes no sense. So you should know it's an allegory. In my father's house are many mansions. They're talking about the house of the zodiac. And in the house of the zodiac, i.e. the zodiac wheel, there are 12 zodiacs. Okay. Those are the ones that fall in the direct path of the sun. All right. Letitia says she's cursing herself. Absolutely. Absolutely. So anyway, with that all being said, I just had to put that on out there. But hold on. Because like I said, the young lady, one thing that struck me about the young lady who was her manager when she exposed her on yesterday, okay, this woman admitted that she was told by Wig, that's what I call her Wig. She said that she was told by Wig to flag Michi X's videos. Now, I'm not surprised because I told you all over a year ago before this channel got taken down, I told you all that she was getting my videos flagged. Now, how did I know that? Well, because someone told me, someone close to her told me that her and Dr. Boyce were flagging my videos when I left Fly Nubian Queen. All right. So with that all being said, I'm so glad that her manager exposed it, that she's out here telling folk to basically that you're that she's out here. I'm trying to read the chat at the same time. That she's actually telling people, to flag people's videos, trying to get people's channels snatched. All right. Now, if that isn't a hater, I don't know what is. Okay. If that isn't a hater, I don't know what is. Okay. And so anyway, with that all being said, yes, I know she was, beloved. I know she was. Somebody said Michi X was talking about this yesterday. Absolutely. Absolutely. Because she stole her spiritual teachings too. All right. And another woman's as well. Okay. Terry says Vicky is a troublemaker and a thief, in my opinion. Well, I agree. I heard someone else was calling her out for being fake. So anyway, Capricorn said, I've been stopped watching her. Hey, I just had to put it on out there because at the end of the day, I'm just over it at this point. Like I said, if you're going to repeat somebody's talking points, the least you can do is give them credit, because that's what I do. Okay, because in my teachings, I do quote certain scholars and certain doctors, and I say their names and I give them the credit. That's what I do. All right, so that's all you have to do. So anyway, let's move on from that. Now let's talk about the FBI raiding multiple churches. That includes Texas Church that was said to be recruiting Fort Hood soldiers. This is what they say. So let's get into it. Everyone get those likes up. Please like and share. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. Okay. They say they were recruiting Fort Hood soldiers. So on Thursday, KWTX reported that the FBI has raided 3 churches across the South, including a church in Killeen, Texas, that was said to be targeting service members from the nation's largest army base. Clearly nefarious. They say, I can confirm the FBI was executing court-authorized law enforcement activity today in the vicinity of the intersection of Massey Street and E. Rancier Avenue in Killeen, Texas. No additional information will be released at this time, according to FBI Special Agent Carmen Portillo. This is what they said in an emailed statement. Now they say Assembly of Prayer Christian Church is located at 1013 Massey Street in North Killeen. A video shared on social media on Thursday showed law enforcement officers at the church. And according to Killeen Daily's Herald, they say dozens of Google and Facebook reviews of the church refer to it as a cult with a habit of recruiting soldiers. Now also raided were the House of Prayer Church in Hinesville, Georgia, near Fort Stewart, and the Assembly of Prayer Church in Augusta, Georgia, near Fort Gordon. Now they say they also raided the House of Prayer Church. Okay. And both of these churches were also accused of targeting service members as well. They say in a similar response, the FBI told WTOC that it was conducting a court-authorized search warrant, though no arrests were made. They reported that the House of Prayer Christian Church has been the center of controversy in the community for years, including protests. In 2017, they say former church members voiced personal stories of alleged abuse from the church and accused its leaders of separating their families. Many of the protesters expressed their belief that the church is a cult. Isn't that something? So going around here, acting as though they're preaching the work of the Most High, but they're a whole cult out here recruiting people. Pay attention. Howard says, I live down the street from Killeen. Really? Very interesting, beloved. Very interesting. Well, so that's what's going on. They're out here recruiting people, and we already know how those cults behave and what they're up to. A lot of human trafficking goes on within these cults. Okay? A lot of human trafficking. Another thing, too, and let me say this too, because I forgot to say this. When I talk about spirituality being what our ancestors did and people using it for demonic things or whatever, there was another thing this person did also. They brought someone that is called a spiritual teacher and world-renowned occultist. Now, I want you to pay attention, because an occultist doesn't have anything to do with spirituality. An occultist has something to do with satanic things, demonic things of demonic origins, and of witchcraft. Okay, that's why I said merging the two, honey. That's ungodly and that's an abomination, honey. That's not what you ever do. I don't deal with occultists, but when someone's telling you that they're teaching you about occultists or they're bringing an occultist, especially a world-renowned so-called occultist to speak to you, that's all demonic. Pay attention. All right. Now listen to this. Here they go trying to come for the guns again. So they say teens arrested armed with loaded handgun AR-15. 2 teenage boys were arrested after police said they were found to be in possession of illegal loaded firearms. It started when police tried to stop as part of an ongoing investigation. Now, around 11:20 p.m. on Wednesday, police tried to stop the teenagers on McCrossin Avenue near Thornton Street, but both boys fled from the officers. A 16-year-old from Albany was caught in Holmes' backyard. Police said that he was in possession of a loaded .4 caliber handgun. A 17 from Schenectady went into the home and was found in a bedroom with a loaded AR-15 and 30 rounds of ammunition. Police said the homeowner did not live there and did not know the homeowner. So they said the 16-year-old was charged with 1 count of criminal possession of a weapon in the 2nd degree. He was arraigned in Albany County Family Court and released on probation. The 17-year-old was charged with 1 count of burglary in 2nd degree, 1 count of criminal possession of a weapon in 2nd degree, and 2 counts of criminal possession of a weapon in 3rd degree. He was arraigned in Albany County Family Court and sent to the Albany County Juvenile Detention Center. Both boys' names are not going to be released because of their age. Well, we already know they're not going to tell us who Brad and Chad clearly are. So, you know, the more things like this happens, the more we hear about these type of stories and all these mass shootings or whatever, that's just giving them more incentive to try to talk about taking away people's guns. And when they take away guns, they take away your power, because then you have no way to protect and defend yourself or your family when things start going bad. And we know that they will, because the family is coming, it's ensuing. But also this gives the government complete and utter control. And the Democrats are, you know, power hungry. They're control freaks. They want to control every aspect of our lives. That's why they have talked so much about censoring people on social media. They don't want people telling the truth and spreading the truth. They don't want each one to teach one, because they don't want people to wake up from the slumber. They want everyone to stay, you know, just on autopilot, just asleep at the wheel. They don't want you to rise into your higher selves. And so basically, that's why they keep putting out all these psyops, okay? Because that's what a lot of them are. Daily Repentance Heart says the Bible is sharper than a sword. Absolutely. Okay. Kikoba says, question, Queen, could the latest news reports of church attacks and church cults represent a predictive programming to set the stage for religious pandemic? Is Jesus the next 911? Peace, y'all. At the end of the day, the devils do whatever they can to throw us off track, to throw us, you know, off focus. We are, in fact, as I have told you all numerous of times, under spiritual attack. This is spiritual warfare. Okay, spiritual warfare. And that's why I have told you all numerous of times that you need to be trying to raise your vibrational frequencies, raise your levels of consciousness. You need to be trying to rise into your higher self, your God-like self, raising the Kundalini energy. You need to be aligning your chakras. All right. That's what you need to be doing, because the Bible talks about the powers of darkness in high places. Okay. These devils that are seen and unseen, these devils that come against us. All right. As we all know, this is spiritual warfare. So you have to already be prepared for it. And the best way to prepare for it is to open your third eye. All right. If thy eye be single, then thy body is full of light. As I told you before, when that Kundalini energy rises up the 33 vertebrae of the spine, crosses the vagus nerve, touches the optic thalamus, and sits there for 3 days. That's why they say Jesus died on the cross, and then he was rested for 3 days. He died for 3 days, and then he arose. That's where they get that all from, because you have 33 vertebrae up your spine. So they say Jesus died at age 33, right? And then when you rise into your higher self, it's called the Christ-like consciousness, or rising into your God self. Now, we've talked about the colostrum and all of that too on my spiritual channel as well. So I would advise you to listen to that if you haven't. Hold on, Diane. Why is all your comment not showing up? Why is all of your comments not showing up? Maya says he meditated for 3 days. Michael said the devil in high places is the Pope. Y'all are too much. Okay, so anyway, listen. With that all being said, I'm going to conclude this broadcast. Courtney J said, you were spitting that. Thank you, beloved. Okay, thank you. Right. TLC says Santa Claus. Yes, Santa Claus. That's where they get Santa Claus from, right? Or from the clostridium. That's excreted from your brain. Now, the clostridium is a portion of the brain that secretes an oil once every month. Okay, once every month it secretes an oil. That's why in church they'll tell you that your head should be anointed with oil. And some of you think that you have to literally put oil on your head. No, the oil is inside of you. Okay, it's a sacred gift from the Most High. It's called a sacred oil, and it exudes or secretes from the claustrum. All right. So with that all being said, everyone please like, share, and subscribe. Don't forget to follow me on Instagram at QueenAhmadiyyah. You can also follow the Queen Ahmadiyyah fan page, and you can follow me on Twitter at DGoddess27. Okay. Doc says the name of your spiritual channel. Thank you. Oh, you're welcome, beloved. It's called Queen Ahmadiyyah TV, More Than Meets the Third Eye. Queen Ahmadiyyah TV, More Than Meets the Third Eye. As a matter of fact, let me drop the link in the chat before I go. Let me drop the link in the chats. Everyone, please go ahead and get those likes up. Please like, share, and subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already and you enjoy the commentary. There you go. There's the link right there to the spiritual channel. Stacy said, I subscribed already. Thank you, beloved. Queen, when can we stream the song? You know what? I have to check on that. It should be available. It may be available now because they told me it would take like a week for it to get approved and all of that. So I'll get back to you all on that later on today. Okay, when I do your daily vitamins. So everyone, make sure you do something productive and constructive, never destructive. Each one teach one. That's how we grow and thrive. And don't forget to always, beloveds, raise your vibrational frequency. Don't let these psyche vampires bring you down. And make sure to keep the Most High first in your life. Peace.
In order for you and me to devise some kind of method or strategy to offset some of the events or a repetition of the events that have taken place here in Los Angeles recently, we have to go to the root. We have to go to the cause. Dealing with the condition itself is not enough.
Dear Mr. Massa, I'm just trying to mind my own business. What's the matter? It's just another day, another black king captured. I'm about to lose my brain, stuck inside this ghetto rapture. I got a lot of smoke. If you want it, you can have it. They want a hat trick, but this is black girl magic. Ain't talking about the kind that'll make you disappear, but I'm talking about the power of the melanin within. Ain't looking for trouble, but I'ma say this one time. I put two dukes up if you try to touch mine. We still want justice for Tamir and Trayvon. You say you don't see color, but racism ain't blind. They targeting little kids whose skin look just like mine. So I'm paranoid, it's a war zone outside. And I'm a black queen, so if you ask me to step out of my car, you gon' have to snatch me. Cause I ain't going no damn well. Had to spend my whole life living unfair. Ancestors got my back and they right here. You can never understand, it's a nightmare. Living in my black shoes by the black rules. You can keep your handshake, I don't dap coons. The white man will go nuts if he cash you. But you all on his side like a damn fool. Make it make sense.
We are oppressed.
Queen.
We are exploited. We are downtrodden.
Make it make
Queen.
We are
sense.
denied not only civil rights, but even human rights.
Ahmadiyyah.
So the only way we're going to get some of this
Ahmadiyyah.
oppression and exploitation
Queen.
away from us or aside from us is come together
Queen.
against the common enemy. Who taught you to hate the texture of your
Ahmadiyyah.
hair? Who taught you to hate the color of your skin?
Ahmadiyyah.
Parents, pay attention to the books, the school system, even to your little children. Lies mixed with wisdom. His skin too bright, so he was blind to the prison. My skin just right, so I collide with division. You trying to pray to God, but we tired of religion. No savior saving, we got to save our savings. We used to pay miss, how we gon' make the slave rich? But who's to blame and tell me why you complaining? We need a team effort just to rule the nation. Like a bad relationship, missing communication. We missing moderation. They're trying to get a poison to my population. No reparations, I'm getting tired of Satan.
We are oppressed.
I'm
Queen.
getting tired of waiting.
We are downtrodden.
Queen.